So we are now open for questions. We have about, when can we, how long do we have? Maybe we can take about 5-6 questions. So the floor is open for questions, please. Questions, please, yeah. Yes, sir, please.
We have been listening very carefully to our two lady speakers who seem to be so much concerned about Chinese influence in Myanmar. And also the way they see Myanmar from their standpoint. First, let's talk about the view on Myanmar. It looks to me they see Myanmar as just some sort of a gateway to the east, which is not good for Myanmar. If you are seeing just Myanmar as sort of a gateway without involving yourself in any way possible within Myanmar, that's not good. We want India, a friend for so many centuries, a country which we have looked up during our struggle for independence in the recent, 3 centuries, let's say. We thought India is our good friend and a great friend. But if your outlook is just to use Myanmar as a gateway, it's not good. Okay? That's my first impression. The second point is not because you are worried about Myanmar's future. What you're worried is the expansion of Chinese influence. We have been dealing with Chinese for so many centuries. And we know at least about Chinese people more than India, because we happen to be more closer to China. Our story says that China and Myanmar are powerful, meaning brothers from the birth. And we like to understand each other in that way. And we keep on to identify each other in that way. If Chinese have other ulterior motive, there are many chances for them to come and take Myanmar at their will. Especially, at least this is my personal view, okay? In 1988, when Myanmar was in a very distractful disarray all over the country, they could have come into Myanmar and take the government very easily. Yet, they stay away from Myanmar. Also, when we say that we want to suspend Missile project for some or other reasons, of course they may not be happy with our decision, but yet they take it calmly. Of course, we know Chinese may have other interests in Myanmar, to use Myanmar as a gateway to Indian Ocean, to expand their market to the west through Myanmar. They may have special policy towards Myanmar. That's as far as I can say. But they may not want to influence to the ultimate level. As you know very well, they have their own problem in their own homeland. They may not want to distract all their efforts from their involvement in Myanmar. So my observation of your presentation, first, you are unduly worried about Chinese influence. Second, you are seeing Myanmar as some sort of a gateway without bothering to do how you can do for us in Myanmar. Thank you.
Yeah, please.
If I understood the last interjection and if I understood the two papers properly, I think that is not what the ladies were implying, to use Myanmar as a gateway only. I think that sometimes even I say that way, that Myanmar is a gateway, but the meaning is not that, that it is restricted to being a gateway. I think if Myanmar is a gateway, so is the northeast of India a gateway. So it has to be taken with a pinch of salt. Actually, the reason why such statements are made is perhaps because certain parts of this region are underdeveloped, and this gives an opportunity for their further development. And that is why we are focusing on those parts. But it is also an acknowledged fact that China is being feared by its neighbors because of its sudden rise, and the rise is in terms of the economy and in terms of its military. So though China speaks of a peaceful rise, there are facts to be confronted which speak for themselves about the rise of China in the region. And to that extent, those fears are sometimes expressed, which is not to say that cooperation is not possible. Certainly, wherever we can cooperate together, and we are cooperating, that cooperation will be there. But I think that misconception between India and Myanmar should not be there, that we are looking at it as a gateway, because there are various common interests which are there, and I think I'll stop there.
Led to some misunderstanding which is not correct. Now, having dealt years back with Burma and the region, let me give some of the thoughts which were there in the government in those days. The main point is China and India, of course, we are now trying to increase trade, solve problems between us. The fact of the matter is we have a problem. We have had problems in the past. It has started with the days when China supported the Burmese Communist Party to carry on depredations even in the northeast. And it's also a fact that they have supported, not now anymore, supported in the past, many other rebel groups. So there has always, Burma has always been, Myanmar has always been a very, very important country for us strategically, apart from the cultural affinities, etc. And at least the present government has a very different take on its neighbors. and that is to develop together. And let's face a fact, if our neighbors are not strong, we are going to live with the exploits, with the countries being exploited by others. We don't want that. So it's certainly, I don't think anybody in Delhi is thinking of Myanmar as a gateway at all. Yes, as he said, it's a very important aspect of trading. It is not just Myanmar, it's the whole route of increasing the trade and development, starting from India to Southeast Asia. And Myanmar just happens to be in the way. It doesn't mean they are the gateway. So Myanmar is important. Government of India will do everything possible to develop and give development aid, or see Myanmar comes up in its new developed country. But still, we all know that strategically also Myanmar is important because of our northeast. Till the day, I'm sorry to say this here, till the day the entire northeast feels one with India, till the day the northeast rebels continue to harass India, and that's the only place where they can do it is from Myanmar border area. To some extent, a large extent, why some extent, we have been able to manage the situation with regard to Bangladesh, but not yet with Myanmar totally. So what I am trying to tell you is that please don't think that is the gateway at all. I don't think anybody in Delhi, these young presenters might have given the impression, though I don't think that's what their intention. So please be assured, if anything, that India means extremely well by Myanmar. They want Myanmar to develop so that nobody else can, not only Myanmar, whether it is Sri Lanka, whether it is anybody else, unless they are well developed, strong, we are scared that others will exploit that weakness. To that extent, we want to strengthen every neighbor of ours. Thank you.
Yeah, please.
Thanks. Just one, very short comment. In terms of Yunnan, the gateway strategy you haven't really mentioned. That was the one area which China's connectivity is with Central Asia, and Yunnan's gateway strategy is what was the mother of what is called maritime strategy, connectivity, maritime Silk Route, as well as the larger, Chinese Silk Route project. And the second issue is that if you observe the things from the Yunnan perspective, since 2007, they have instituted provincial institutes working with regard to connectivity between Yunnan, Myanmar, and India. And also, Yunnan was somehow aggrieved in terms of the development which was seen in Guangzhou and Shanghai provinces. So that really compelled Yunnan to really look forward for South Asia. What I came across in the international conferences organized in Yunnan, they said they don't care about the border dispute between India and China because they just want connectivity to South Asia because that's what matters. Thank you.
I'll give an opportunity to the two lady participants to respond. And then maybe if you have time, we can ask some more questions. Okay. I would also like my fellow colleague, the other presenter, to also say what he wants to say, if he wants to say anything. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. The intent of my presentation as citing Myanmar as a gateway should not be viewed as with a narrow perspective, narrow vision as a channel or a corridor, but with a broader vision of rejuvenating the connections, the developments, and in that case, India-Myanmar relations, the neighborliness is very much required. That was the motive of my presentation. Not as a channel or a corridor, but as a gateway to development, to more enriching relationship. And regarding your expansion of China's influence, that in that case, I made an attempt to make a study of the China's reach to the Bay of Bengal region. And regarding the Mitsun Dam project, I intended to say that the dam has been suspended because the economic expansion has been suspended at the cost of, because it was being done at the cost of environment. So that might have a degrading effect on the country, on the entire country. So that was a very bold, very good initiative by Myanmar. Even nowadays, when there is lot of conversation on climate change, on environment, this step has been taken by Myanmar by overlooking by the impact of the economic impact. It should be appreciated. We do appreciate Sino-Myanmar relations, but there are certain hiccups in the relationship too. We have to admit that. So that was my intention to do. And regarding India-Myanmar relation, as I started my presentation with Pandit Nehru's statement that there are wide horizons of relationship between the two. My presentation should not be misinterpreted like by confining ourselves to gateway thing. That's my submission.
Thank you, sir, for your comments. I'm really sorry if it came across that I am worried about Chinese influence in Myanmar. That is not the case. My area of interest is to understand how China is dealing with its neighbor, who India has in the past for a long time not had specific tangible results with over the years, historically. Although we have a lot of cultural linkages that has come out in these 2 days of conference. That was merely what I was trying to do. Also, understanding China's approach provides useful insights into how a neighbor is dealing with Myanmar, which is undergoing a transition in itself. I do not see Myanmar as a gateway, quote unquote, but India needs to engage with the country that's undergoing a transition and whom we have not been interacting with for the nearly 30 years specifically. Only in the recent past that there's been a surge of visits and etc. So in this regard, I think it becomes all the more essential to understand how China is dealing with the issues that are plaguing Myanmar and not seeing it as a gateway. As far as the second comment, I agree, Yunnan was the benchmark, but later on Guangxi kind of overtook it. But Guangxi came in later. Yunnan actually started the entire process, and then Guangxi came in, and then you had the entire Nanning channel towards Vietnam and all of that. So that's a given. But I think in terms of looking at it Myanmar's perspective, Yunnan played a bigger role. So thank you.
Personally, I don't hate Chinese, but I was born in Mandalay. When we were born in Mandalay, we have the harmony and unity between Chinese community and the Myanmar community. But after 1988, many things changed because Chinese immigrants, sorry to say, they are very unethical. They have easy access to the people and authority, power, by using their illegal money. Also, maybe you know about the fact the land price of Mandalay is higher than that of price in Manhattan in United States because of their. I don't want to elaborate because this is one thing. Before I came here, I have my immediate the ADB consultant, Canadian lady. She make a joke. Don't talk about bad things China and India because they know more than you do. That is my message. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Yeah. Yes, please.
Just, not so much as a question, but just a very brief comment. It is, what shall we say, the fate of Myanmar to be situated between the two most populous countries in the world, between China and India. And the influence of these both countries have been on our country throughout the years. When I say years, I'm not talking about 10 years or 20 years, I'm talking about hundreds of years, thousands of years. So, China and India are both very important for us. And because I don't want to take too much time, I'll be very brief and say very openly, we live with these two giants we have to know how to live with these two giants. And we have to know, at least we try to know, although I'm not sure that we are always successful, how to get the best from these two giants. Thank you very much.
I think you people are doing extremely well. I think I accept your point. Both countries are big countries. They have powerful influences. I think you're doing a great job of navigating treacherous waters. Right? You're doing it extremely well. Okay. So I think if there are no more questions, we'll kind of come call this session to a halt. Before we do that, I would like to join me in thanking the presenters for, I think it's evoked a lot of controversy. One of the purposes of such conferences is to obviously evoke such controversy so that many of our actual positions and what we want to say gets clarified, and in the process maybe we get closer to a deeper understanding of the central core issues on which we want to understand and debate and come to some kind of an agreement on. Okay. So having said that, let me ask all of you to join me in thanking the presenters and maybe giving them, for all the work that they have put in, a kind of applause a little bit for what they did. And thank you very much again. I personally enjoyed this because for the first time I think we got a little bit away from diplomacy and the nice things we need to say and get to really talk about things that we should be talking about maybe. And thank you very much for extremely honest and forthright opinions and statements and exchanges. And I think it will help us do things better together. Thank you very much.